You're watching Hellbent Holler live, part of the Hellbent Media Network. Grab a drink, settle in, and get ready for the show.
Hello.
Oops. Well, we just start off every week with a mechanical, like an equipment malfunction, don't
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Hello, and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. How are we today? Normal human Joe? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Hello, and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. We're going to do a mic and camera test to make sure that you guys can see us and hear us. And we will get started with the show. So we got quite a few people in today. Dooster says loud and clear. I'm going to take Dooster's word for it on that one. All right. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. It's our weekly show that we do at 7:30 Eastern every Monday. And it's basically our freeform hangout that we have with our Hellbenders. Everybody chimes in on the chat and we can discuss whatever you guys want to discuss. You guys can ask questions. We can discuss what's going on in the world of high strangeness, cryptids, Bigfoot, Dogman, what have you. It's kind of free form. It's free for all. So you guys just come at us, enjoy yourself, talk to each other in the chat, and have a great time. Make sure that you hit that like button. right now and just tap it a little bit, see how it feels. And we'll get started. I am looking like a gnome today, a very warm little gnome.
The gnome looks hot for fall of 2023. So
very.
That's what they're wearing in Milan.
The gnome
this year.
is in. The gnome is in.
That's what they're wearing in Milan this year.
Milan,
Yes.
the Milanese gnomes. I need to color my hair. So and I'm very cold. It is very cold. So I have been so busy today working on video. I've almost got Equinox in the bag, Equinox Part 2. So about an hour before we started this live stream, I released the teaser trailer for Equinox Part 2. And I hope you guys had a chance to check that out. Joe got home from work and I said, hey, watch this real quick. And you seem to enjoy it.
She was going to release it later on. And I'm like, release that damn thing now. So
yep. But that is Equinox Part 2 teaser trailer. I should have that out this week. I've got a couple of things I need to fine tune on it. And then I think what I'm going to end up doing is releasing Part 1 and 2 as a full length with added footage and added interview stuff. So it's going to be ultimate Equinox experience in a little while. So I'm excited about that. The Equinox experiment was really interesting and it had interesting results. It had lasting results. So we're looking forward to taking that beacon back out and messing with it a little bit. We did use it in the LBL a little bit. And something that happened in the LBL while we were using it is you flipped it on at one point. We were in Martin's area, the area where Martin experienced his attack, his Dogman attack. And we were way back there. We were up on a hilltop because we were trying to get kind of a view around us and try to monitor if there's any sounds or anything around us. So we got to the highest point we could find on this hilltop. And Joe set up all of the instrumentation and fired up that beacon. And it was right after you fired up that beacon that a whole gang, I'm not going to say a pack, a gang, because they're street toughs, coyotes, a gang of coyotes just started going bananas and howling and yelping. So it seems like that seems to happen when you fire up that beacon, that there's always something weird that goes on.
Yeah, something happens.
So yeah, it's an interesting piece of tech that we've put together and we're excited to experiment with it more. And the Wizard of Soggy Bottom himself is working on some new components that are going to be way stronger. That
we're going to try to beg him to let us incorporate into it. So, yeah.
So we're going to turn the volume up on that. That one goes up to 11.
If we ever hit the lottery, we're just going to set Dewey up in a lab, like a big lab, all right? Like test tubes bubbling up.
I just see him stumbling out of the lab. One of his lenses and his glasses is
cracked and broken.
He's got like singed mustache hairs.
Yeah, you're not going to believe what I just cooked up now. And that'll be great. We got a lot of people talking about the one-on-one show.
Yeah, One released our interview that he did with us a while back. He released it to his audience first and then slowly brought it out on the podcast platform. And then now it's on YouTube. A lot of people did not find us entertaining. That's fine.
Well, here's the deal. He's like more into the occult, alchemical type side of things.
More of the esoteric.
We flirt with that, but we're still involved in like a lot of the cryptid stuff. So, but then again, we're not pure cryptid either. We're kind of between him and then like a regular like Bigfoot focused YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? So we appealed to some of his people.
Yeah,
not quite their taste.
Some of them were
I don't trust women with blue hair was the comment that stood out to me.
I don't trust women.
I don't trust women at all.
Well, I don't have blue hair anymore, so there you go. I took your advice.
Random internet guy.
Monkey butt 63. I took your advice and I got rid of the blue hair. So now you can trust me 100%. No problem. But
Jeff Rawls says you guys look more rested tonight. That is not the case. But thank you for that compliment, though. So
thank you. Thank you. It's my gnome hat is hiding my gray hairs right now, is what it is. Yeah, so we've been busy as usual working on stuff. So I think we're going to put out a question to members on the community page for members on what kind of content you guys really enjoy seeing, and what you guys want us to focus on as members, because you guys support the whole channel. Remember, if you have not signed up for a membership, you can always sign up for a membership. And that just supports what we do. That helps us buy new equipment.
We're still doing regular stuff.
travel.
We're still doing the Monday nights for everybody. We're still releasing stuff like Equinox 2 is going to be for everybody. We're still doing the same amount of stuff we did for regular subscribers.
Equinox is going to be for everybody, of course.
It's just we are doing some stuff just particularly for the members, but you'll still get you will not lack for content, and you will not miss anything. It's going to be basically the exact same stuff you used to get.
Yeah. Yep. But there's going to be all kinds of good stuff on there. So we'll put that out, and you guys can respond to that at will. And do we have any more housekeeping to take care of? No? Okay.
Let's jump into it.
Good talk, everybody.
Good talk, everybody.
All right. Do we have any questions or any comments?
Saving one. Scott Yeager asked if we have ever heard the metal door sound that some folks say that they have heard.
We've heard mechanical sounds.
We haven't heard the metallic sound in the LBL. We have heard it in North Georgia. We have heard it once in South Carolina that I can think of. We've heard it in North Georgia before, in the area where that Equinox video is coming out at. But we've never heard it in the LBL. But multiple people have. And I'm so glad that is getting like traction now. So I need to go through and pull up some of the theories that people have posited over the years, because it never really gained traction before. People would talk about it kind of just on the periphery of like Bigfoot talk, but now people are actually starting to get it's started to be a topic of conversation. So
I've got another scouting video. It was a daytime scout video that we did in the LBL on our last excursion there. And I guess I'm going to release that this week or so, right? Yeah. I'll release that this week, but it's a daytime kind of scouting mission that we did to Station 16. And we hear this like low rumble, and it's not a plane.
It's not the barge going by.
Somebody suggested that we were
a train. We're near train tracks.
There's no train in the LBL. So trained monkeys, perhaps. We're not sure. We were looking at some cryptid videos, and how many times in a lot of these cryptid videos where they talk about these cryptids, is there a circus train derailment involved? It seems like.
What were we watching recently? Oh, they were talking about the Honey Island Swamp.
Oh, they were talking about the Honey Island.
Then Werewolf Springs is supposedly
apparently
there's a lot of
circus train derailments that lead to these cryptid infestations. So, the 20s through the 40s was a very tough time for circus trains.
Julie Bug, did you get out into the wild this weekend? We actually did not. For the first time in a long, long time, because we were in the LBL for almost 2 weeks, and we are both ran down and sick, and we're going to cough occasionally tonight, so you have to deal with us. But we did not. We had to actually get, sorry.
What?
Heard that metal door sound when I got out of the joint. Anyway, no, we did not. We had to actually, the LBL was very time consuming, very, very, very time consuming. Every day was like a
full schedule,
18, 19-hour day, like every day. So we had to kind of get home, do an equipment reset, and then figure out our next step as to where we're going.
And I was uploading footage too during all that too. As we would get footage, I would upload stuff.
Let's just drop like the ultimate like BS infuriating teaser here. We can't talk about any of it, but we have been in communication with somebody who has like possibly like mind-blowing stuff. Only reason I'm even hinting at it.
Are we going right into that? We were talking about LBL. Now we're going to go into that.
Yeah, we can't even really talk about it. But it's, if all goes well and this gentleman decides to share, it's going to be wild. Would you agree with that?
Agreed.
So that has been something that we take a lot of like witness encounters. A lot of times they're too far from us to do anything for. Would like to hear about it, but it's basically just a good data point, and thank you for sharing it. But this one's like literally just consumed us for the past, like, I don't know, day or so. So anyway, we'll get to more of that down the line.
Yeah, we're definitely opening a door here to something. So we're
Speaking of the
excited
door,
about that.
how long is the metal door sound? People, as far as duration goes, I haven't really heard anybody talk about duration. Not like a screech, but usually a little bit longer. People always talk about it sounds like literally a door opening, but I guess pretty rapidly. That's a good question. As people kind of report that, I ought to go, how long did the sound last? So, where Robert had asked, have we heard anything like the Ohio howl? Yes, we have. We heard that up in the dark corner, remember?
Yes.
And we were just like, oh my Lord, this is like the Ohio howl. The only problem is it was warmer and there was a ton of insects out.
That's the problem with the Laughing Beast area is that is so audio centric. That whole encounter is so audio centric with the laughing, with the howling. And they say it happens pretty regularly, like clockwork. When we went down to the Laughing Beast area, it happened like clockwork, like they said it would. One of our cameras went kaput as soon as we got out of the car. And then we went down into the area a little deeper and we heard that yelling and that howl.
Yep.
So we are definitely going back to the Laughing Beast area now that it is colder, but we have to be careful about poachers, apparently.
Yep.
I'm trying to not get shot by a drunk fella or a 12-year-old anytime soon. So we are planning on doing that. But yeah.
A couple things that I had starred up here. LW Marshall, hello. We'll be at Crypticon this weekend. We'll send you a report from the highlights. We'll do. And tell them they should have invited Hellbent Holler. They did a post on their Facebook page on who people would like to see there. And we were actually very shocked and surprised that we had the most comments going, oh, you should have Hellbent Holler, but yet no invitation arrived. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. JFA want to know, have you ever run into strange people at the LBL?
Yeah.
We
are the strange people, mister.
We don't really run into a lot of people there. We don't really run into a lot of people there just when we're out. Of course, we're usually off like hiking trails. We're usually just like busting through the brush, but I hear stories. I hear weird stories. So
we were hiking, we were scouting an area and we ran into a bow hunter in an area we really don't go into very often.
Yeah, we did run.
And then we were like, okay, we're not going to go over here anymore.
Take a broadhead arrow to my chest. So, I'm
starring some stuff.
Miranda Crew, we want you to go back to the LPL and see what's under the floor. I'm sure somebody's going to beat us to it. Somebody will beat us to it. But I don't think anybody's ever mentioned that there was a space beneath that bunker. I don't know if we'd be crossing into the realm of vandalism to get down into there.
Yeah,
That's
because
one thing to look at for.
If you dig a little bit, there's kind of a floor, like a metal floor.
You can kick the loose dirt, but there's a metal floor. You'd have to get in there and tear it up.
Yeah.
And that would probably be vandalism.
Does that count as vandalism?
I don't know if that counts. I would think that would count as vandalism. So, but you'll see somebody now that we've got it out there, and now that we've mentioned it, somebody will be, I'm at the LBL at the main bunker area. I'm going to try to get into the floor.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little light B&E, okay?
A little light breaking and entering. Marcus Ruiz wants to know, are you guys going to bring guests to the channel to share stories?
Yes, we are. Okay, so what?
No, I was very emphatic. Yes, go with
yes.
it. So,
okay. Yes, we are. We've talked about this a couple of times before. This has just been a time issue for us. I am going to start phasing off. So I have a with my regular job, I'm going to phase off a day. I'm going to lose a day there so that I can do a show where we can have our listeners and viewers come on and share experiences. And I also want to start interviewing people, but not the regular type people. I kind of want to do a little more variety with what we do and kind of put our own spin on it. But I'm going to be doing my own little gig. Can I say what the name of it is? Or not yet?
Knock yourself out.
Okay. So the name of it where you guys can come on and tell your stories. And we're going to be doing that through StreamYard. So if you're interested, shoot me an email, hellbentjesse@gmail.com. Shoot me an email and I'll go ahead and get you on the calendar and we'll start setting that stuff up because we're going to have a calendar for it and have people come on and tell their stories to me. And then we're going to also have a thing where I interview people because it's going to be my love letter to Art Bell. But I'm so excited about doing that. I'm so excited to finally kind of meld the world of our viewers and what we do. What we do is usually pretty insulated. It's usually just us, but it's time that we kind of brought some people in and brought in some new ideas and new stories and everything and do it the way we only know how. So the name of my little foray is Hell or High Strangeness. So I am so excited. So if you have a story that you would like to tell on air and be included in that, you can email me, hellbentjesse, JESSI @gmail.com. I'll go ahead and put that in a ticker and then we can get together and set that up because I'm super stoked about that.
Only counts as vandalism if you get caught. Anyway,
I'm going to update this ticker real quick.
All right. So, all right, we've got a ton of good stuff already. We got to get on the ball. It's last 3 like live streams have just had like crazy good stuff here. Let me go through here. Ivan Ramirez had said that he wanted to see more Bigfoot and Dogman stuff. We actually have some Bigfoot and Dogman stuff that we are currently working on with extremely recent reports. So we may be on the ground where there have been not, hey, a couple of years ago I saw this, but hey, a couple of days ago I saw this. So keep an eye out for that. Missouri Broad had mentioned something possibly being under the ground of the LBL is very interesting. And Estes sessions at the locations would be the
Bomb Diggity.
The Bomb Diggity. We just upgraded our spirit box stuff. We got the one that we showed you guys a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of underwhelming. Mm-hmm. So we sent it back. And we got like the Cadillac. So yeah, Jesse's probably going to do a little video showing what that is.
Yeah. So I finally got it. We got it as soon as, well, we got it after we got back, which sucks because I wish we had it in the LBL. In the LBL for our live stream, I used the Ghost Stop one, and the sweep rate is just too dang slow. It drives me crazy. But this one is so cool, and I can't wait to make a video showing you guys kind of how it does and how versatile it is. And it's going to be really cool for Estes sessions, which we're going to sort of dive more into.
Mm-hmm. Right. So Ivan Ramirez had talked about haunted Lake Lanier.
Oh, yeah. Joe and I were talking about, I sent Joe an article about Lake Lanier the other day. Now, the only problem with Lake Lanier is it is outside of Atlanta and it's a recreational lake. So there's a lot of high-end resorts that are around the lake. I know there's tons of stories out there because it was a lake created by a dam. So it was a river and it was flooded when they built a dam. And so like with a lot of these lakes, like the lakes up at the LBL, like Lake Jocassee up in the upstate of South Carolina, there are cemeteries and whole towns underneath these lakes, at the bottom of these lakes. So there's lots of lakes that are actually like that fit that profile. I think a lot of people are just talking about Lake Lanier. Mm-hmm. There it goes. I think a lot of people are just talking about Lake Lanier, but it's so close to Atlanta. It's kind of hard to find an area to investigate that's not just full of people. So I'm going to look into that, but I've got a couple of other locations that kind of fit the same profile and also have a lot of really creepy stories associated with them. So I think we might have to pull out the SS Marcus Aurelius and do a maritime show.
Just curious, it said, I have random videos showing my feet on the LBL. One particular was a couple going through the park in the daytime showing the various camping areas with prices, how to get permits, etc. Yeah, there's a few structured campgrounds there. That's where the majority of the people
Piney
are.
Campground is out there, Hillman Ferry Campground. And then you've got Turkey Bay off-road area. So there's a lot of stuff out there that is for tourists and is, still functioning and perfectly fine. It's not like a desolate land like a desolate no man's land.
All right, so Pamela Stefanich wanted to know, what were you most surprised about when working with a small town monsters crew?
what a good chef that Alex Petikoff is. I mean, he's like a classically trained French chef.
Is he really?
And just the way that he julienned the carrots was shocking. No, we didn't have time to eat while we were out there. No, I think that I was really impressed by their level of professionalism, how they really take this seriously. And it was very refreshing because we've encountered people before that just don't seem to take the subject seriously or the work seriously. And
they have fun with it.
They have fun with it, but it gets very frustrating because we take it very seriously. We dedicate our lives to it. We spend all of our excess income on it. We live, breathe, and eat, sleep, everything with this subject. And it's nice to meet other people that do that and take it so seriously. And I think one of my favorite things is we went out with Alexander Petikoff one night, and you know, I'm pretty fast in the woods. I'm a little mountain goat, and I'm like going up the side of this hill. And usually if anybody else is with us, I'll turn around. I'm like, oh crap, I got to wait like 20 minutes for this person to, you know, get up the hill behind me. I turn around and Alex is right there. I was like, oh, I love you. This is wonderful. So it was great to see people that are like ready to do the work and prepared to do the work and do the work. That was
it was also cool seeing wonderful. How, even though we use a lot of the similar stuff, we use it differently. And it was kind of just cool being out with somebody who, again, takes it seriously, is trying to document the phenomenon. And it was just kind of cool. So, this was earlier, and I have no comment on it. I just wanted to, because it's weird. Camping Jackson Lake, Colorado, heard a loud yell morph into a submarine sonar ping. Ping, ping. I can't imitate a sonar ping. Ping. That's pretty freaking good, actually. Ping. Damn. All right. That's hidden talent. Damn. All right. But that's crazy. I've literally never heard that before. Have you ever?
Was that a good submarine?
That was a pretty damn good that was a pretty good damn submarine.
Because it trails off at the end.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
It's like you've trained your whole life just for this moment.
I was ready for it.
JFA, just out of curiosity, if you were able to capture a Dogman, dead or alive, what would you two do from there? I would not try to capture an alive Dogman.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
I would try to film it, try to get readings around it, try to get it with at least 2 cameras so people didn't immediately jump on the AI wagon. Now, if it was dead, I would try to get a tissue sample. I would probably try to get a head or a foot. A head would be too hard to get, although that would be ideal. But a tooth, a few things like that, and then we would just haul ass out. So,
I mean, I don't think I'd ever be able to capture something like that alive. I'm scared of capturing a raccoon alive. So I think a Dogman is a whole other kettle of fish.
Kim Drescher had asked, are you going to get your diving certificates and go down there to explore Lake Lanier?
No. Absolutely not.
No, we don't do lake monsters.
We don't do lake monsters.
We don't do lake monsters.
I'm not in their good graces. So I've talked a lot of ish about the lake monsters. So not going to go very well for me. It's kind of a beef I've got going. No, I'm not interested in diving. I'm scared of diving and I'm scared of going into deep caves.
Yeah.
So that terrifies me. So I'm not going to do it.
All right. So,
hello, Trista Myers. Have you enjoyed cheer practice?
This was also a very intriguing comment. More concerning, they're talking about the little void between the LBL bunker. More concerning is if there's not a hollow sound for when you go back. If we go back and it's no longer hollow, it's been filled in. I never even thought of that.
Oh,
I should have at this point, but yeah, that's
I can't believe we didn't think to bang on the floor. You know what? You want to hear some crazy stuff. There might have been something in that void and now it's gone, because what did I say? If you guys will look at the footage from previous trips to the LBL, look inside that bunker. It's full of debris and trash and all kinds of stuff. This time it had a layer of mud on the bottom because that's at the bottom of just a runoff. So there's going to be mud in the bottom. There was no debris whatsoever. It was completely cleaned out. And I mean completely cleaned out, as opposed to how we found it years before. And every time we found it before, it's been full of debris and all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
It was like completely cleaned out, just mud in the bottom. So maybe something has already been removed.
Tanya Kupke, what are your thoughts on the hyena type Dogman? The Appalachian hyena type thing, and it's not always on 2 legs. Sometimes it's on 4. fascinates me. We can't ever get a recent sighting to investigate, though. I had one guy who said he was having like current activity and he just went dark on me. But they're usually aggressive. They're usually seen by hunters. They're usually seen in packs of at least 3, although there are occasional single ones, but usually packs of 3 at least. That Appalachian, and then it's over in Oklahoma as well. What is it? The Shunkawarakan. So I'm fascinated by that. And we actually have some activity going on near us that might be that. It might be some sort of wolf cryptid activity, but we've just got to get that plan to go look on it. That's extremely intriguing. We'll probably, if we start doing guests, if he's willing to speak anonymously, come on and kind of tell us what all he's experienced at this point. So
I'm looking through all these. I'm trying to capture.
Add a few more. So
yeah, go ahead.
LW had mentioned possible future topic, your take on the missing person phenomenon. We might have something that touches upon that as a show extremely soon.
Yeah.
Extremely soon. Extremely soon.
I was thinking about doing like a full treatment on our North Georgia area, but I'm afraid if I do a full treatment on it, it'll give away the location.
And then we got to worry about people being out there.
Yeah.
Elvin Holler, bring me a Dogman tooth. Oh, yeah, be crazy. Send out like Dogman tooth necklaces for Christmas.
I want one of the adventurer hats, but it's going to be full of Dogman tooths. And then when I go to conventions, I can remove the adventurer hats from everyone else because they're not quite as good as mine. Like I'll just confiscate.
It can be only one, huh? So
yes, I'm the Highlander of the adventurer hat.
What is that? Yu-Gi-Oh, where you flap the cards down? And so Alan Howard said all those missing bones are under that board. Maybe it didn't sound like a board. It sounded like a thin metallic.
A metallic door, perhaps.
Shit, I'm sorry, didn't mean to say that, but yeah, impossible. Damn. Our boy, not today. Been wondering if you guys are ever going to do a show on clinical lycanthropy. Terrifying stuff. That might be a little thing for your Hell or High Strangeness. And that's a riff off Hell or High Water, in case somebody didn't, nobody got that. Just trying to.
Good job, Joe.
Trying to, Brian Cheshire, do you guys prefer hunting cryptids or ghosts, or does it matter? A lot of times it bleeds together because we get reports of strange howls, shadowy figures, general weird stuff, and we go out there and we experience strange howls, shadowy figures. And we always tell people that if the same thing was happening inside of 4 walls, people would call an exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I think that people are primed to think that it's cryptid activity when it happens in the woods. So a lot of times the line's a little blurry as between the two of those. For me, it used to just be cryptid stuff. I wasn't interested in the paranormal at all. And now more than often, I'm kind of lumping it all together. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just because, like you said, everything bleeds into one another. You can't separate them anymore, especially what we've experienced, what we've seen, what we've captured. When we go out prepared for something in particular, and then all of a sudden some other kind of phenomenon rears its head. So you can't just be so categorized with it. You have to let it all kind of flow together and just prepare for everything. Right? Yeah.
I'm just going down through here. Michael China wanted to know, do we ever find anything about that children's cemetery in the LBO?
We went over there. We were nearby there when we were up there, but we haven't found any information on it.
There's so many cemeteries in the LBL.
The LBL is just dotted with cemeteries. And I'm going to do kind of more of a paranormal trip to the LBL in the coming future. Not so heavy on the cryptid angle.
Like Russell said, the package is in country now.
I saw that. Yes, I have the tracking. Thank you, Michael Russell.
He said you can mention what it is. So
Michael Russell has sent me a drone.
Okay.
So
he had a drone that is sitting around gathering dust, and he was like, I will contribute it to the cause. So we were like, awesome, because we were not in the position to be able to get one yet.
Yeah. So I have to learn how to fly it. I got to get my FAA 107 before I can have any footage on the channel. So you guys have to wait for me to pass my FAA 107 to present drone footage, because I'm not going to have the FAA come after me. And they will.
So
I see some folks with drone footage on their channels, and I'm like, there is no way that you pass that FAA 107. It's a little difficult.
hold on 1 second. So, where is?
I'm way behind.
I'm way behind. We're a little out of it tonight. Bear with us,
What's wrong
everybody.
with you people? Hey, make sure you hit that like button and just give it a
Now
little.
today, it asked if I'd looked in. Yeah, I was familiar with spooky action at a distance. I'd reached out to, not today because there was some really good information that was, it's been out for a little while, but I stumbled across it about the nature of gravity and how it's,
That's a quote from Einstein, right?
Spooky action at a distance, quantum entanglement. Yeah. It's how one particle can basically affect another particle at a distance. That's scientifically proven. So when people start to bandy about things about like, oh, that's not scientifically possible, going, oh, there's some really, Einstein, when he looked into quantum entanglement, he called it spooky action at a distance because it's spooky. It seems almost mystical, you know. So, and then Rick had asked, how do you know what is fact or fiction on the vocals coming out of the spirit box? You don't. You don't know what's real and what's not real. We take it. I don't believe any of it. Jesse takes it on a case by case basis.
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of see what you get, you know, and interpret it. It's kind of exciting when you get stuff, but you can't get too excited and be like, I'm talking to the spirit of a little boy who's been lost and I must help him by running off this cliff.
Kathy Parker had asked, what was the LBL? We do have some new people. Do you want to?
Yes. So the LBL is the land between the lakes. It is, you want my speech?
Yeah, do the speech.
I'll do the speech.
Do the speech.
Speech. It's the land between the lakes. It's a national recreation area that is located in Tennessee and Kentucky. It's the nation's largest inland peninsula. It is bordered on one side by Lake Barkley and bordered on the other side by Kentucky Lake. And it was taken over in the early 1960s by the Tennessee Valley Authority when they built these dams to bring power to rural Tennessee. And there were a lot of people that lived there. So they kicked all of these people off the land and took it away from them. There's a lot of speculation on why they did that. Some of it is cryptid related, which is some of the more crazy theories that we've posited before. But allegedly in 1982, there was a deadly Dogman attack on a family of 4. So that's one of the biggest stories that's come out of the LBL, but subsequently there's been a lot more. We've been up there and we've investigated the land between the lakes probably 7 times at this point, 7-8 times at this point. And we have found some real spooky stuff there. So we have a whole series of videos. You can catch up on stuff we found in the LBL if you check out that series of videos after the show. And that should catch you up.
That should catch you up. All right, got some other stuff here. Marcus Aurelius, our man, bringing us out the gate. Question for Jesse and Joe. How old were you each when you first became interested in the paranormal? And what was the stimulus, subject, or event that began your lifelong journey?
So my family has always been kind of into weird stuff and kind of supernaturally and spiritually kind of connected. It's always been a thing in my family. My mother does divination, sees ghosts, communes with spirits, that kind of thing. So that's always been kind of a thing. I'm from a small mountain town in Western North Carolina. And I have a great aunt that was like a granny witch, like a mountain witch. So it's kind of just always been around. I moved to New Orleans when I turned 18, and I lived there for a long time and did a lot of paranormal stuff there. Probably spent more time in cemeteries than I did at home. And I just kind of was obsessed with it. I was very interested in it. But I come from a more ghost, paranormal, occult side of things. And Joe was more into the physical cryptid kind of thing. Joe had an experience when he was going through some of the final stages of becoming a Eagle Scout.
I was called Order of the Arrow. I was
Order
in Boy
of
Scouts,
the Arrow.
and I saw what looked like can't say it looked like a Bigfoot. That's probably the closest approximation, peeking at me from behind a tree. And still to this day, I don't know if it was like a hoax, if I was half asleep and I just kind of dreamed it, I don't know, but that's what started me off on this. So, yeah. And look where we are now. Yeah. Thank you for that though, Marcus. We greatly appreciate it. So. Lady Wolf. My fiance came into the room, looked up at the TV, and said, "Oh, never mind, you're working." Lady Wolf is the moderator par excellence. So good, so good. So a couple of the things I had start here, which is just a good comment. Jessica Smith, hi strangers, is a Venn diagram rather than separate little boxes. That's pretty damn good. I'm stealing that. Stealing that, Jessica. Thank you. Deuster wanted to know if you had any salsa left.
I do. It's so spicy. It is really spicy. Deuster sent me, Dewey and Dee sent me a jar of very special salsa. And Dewey did the most magnificent packing job. When it arrived, I sent Joe a picture of the packing job, not the salsa, because it was so impressive how much care he took into packing this thing. I think he took a class or teaches a class at MIT on packing fragile packages. So thank you, Edwards family, for the
spicy
salsa.
As hell.
It is. We have the sploots here. Hello, splooter.
Brad Smith, I just found you on those torn up tents and the LBL were nuts. Yep, they're. What's going to be interesting is next time we go back to see if they're there at all. They might be just completely gone at that point, or, I mean, we've got them marked via GPS. We can find them again. But just it'll be interesting to see how they've evolved when we've gotten back. But welcome to the channel, though, Brett.
I might put up a gallery. I have some photos of what's left of those tents, like the remnants of those tents. I might put up a gallery in the members section for you guys to kind of peruse and take a look at. I know that was like a big thing when we put up the thing about those abandoned tents, and then we returned this past week, and they were melted in some kind of way by some means that we're not sure of.
Christopher Lindbergh, has anybody ever heard a screaming woman in the woods before that sounds tormented? I've heard this a couple times on my property in South Carolina that is out in the country. Not sure what kind of creature. Foxes can sound like that. Coyotes can sound like bobcats. But if you live in the country, you probably know what all those sound like. Christopher, I think you've told us before what part of South Carolina you're in. I think I could have sworn you have. But if you haven't, if it's anywhere on our neck of the woods, let us know, man. Maybe we'll come out and try to get some audio recording of it and see if we can figure out what it'd be.
That would be cool. I got one here. Are there any reports on pale crawler sightings at the LBO?
Probably.
I haven't
received any, but I think so.
But you know, Hopkinsville is nearby.
Yeah.
So you've got something kind of in the same vein that is nearby.
Yeah, all that stuff, like the pale crawlers, the rake, the Hopkinsville goblins, the Dover demon, maybe even the moon-eyed children. All that stuff kind of comes along that creepy
subterranean humanoid figures.
Yeah, like white subterranean stuff. So
Spooktator Bob followed. I didn't even see this. Sorry, Spooktator. Keep in mind the LBA is close to Mammoth Cave, Bell Witch, and Hopkinsville, where the Kentucky Goblins incident happened. Yes.
Kim Drescher had posted something earlier. So we see Sasquatch around cities and dumpsters more than we used to. Why? I swear I wonder if it has to do with the increase in wasting disease and with deer. Perhaps they smell it and they can't eat.
Ooh.
Driving them to other food sources.
Yeah.
Maybe. So.
It's a good theory.
Everybody's talking about how Scooby-Doo was the gateway drug for them. For me as a kid, non-personal experience-wise, it was like In Search of Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
It was like the...
How good was that Leonard Nimoy, like 30-minute interview?
Oh, good Lord. It was the best
we listened to on the way back
so.
From LVO. Just a lot of life gems in there.
This is wild. PC, has anyone ever seen a 30-foot plus long glowing green snake about 1 foot in diameter? Anybody? I filmed it myself, and a sheriff saw it too after I called 911 to report it. We had our guns ready but couldn't shoot.
No, I don't want to.
I have not seen that. If you want to tell us more about it,
I don't want to see it.
Fill up those comments there, my friend. So, Ghetto Yeti said that was a very professional and brief synopsis of The Land Between the Lakes. So
I'm getting better every day.
All right, so Just Curious has a thing about also peacock scream. Up where we used to live at, we saw a lady posting, was it like in the Nextdoor app or like on a Facebook group?
The hellscape of nextdoor.com.
I think it's the hellscape of nextdoor.com. She posted going, there are screaming monkeys coming up to my fence line every night, tormenting my dogs. And we're like, screaming monkeys, what the hell? So we reached out to her and we're thinking, okay, there are these like murderous small Sasquatch creatures coming
This is
up
it. This
trying
is
to
the
take her
one.
dog. Nope, her neighbor had peacocks. And she heard it, and then she would see them moving, and then just her mind built up that they were screaming monkeys. So I will never forget how disappointed I was when we figured out it was peacocks all along.
I've described the barred owl as a
alien.
No, as a ostrich monkey.
As an alien ostrich monkey.
Alien ostrich monkey. Yes.
Bigfoot Society talking about the movie The Descent. I don't think you've ever seen The Descent, have you?
I don't know if I want to.
There's a book called The Descent.
It's caving, right?
Yes, women. It's some cavers that go down and they get trapped in, and there's like subterranean. There's like they're a race of like people basically that have just gotten down there, and like there's been parallel evolution underground. Well, there was a book called The Descent by Jeff something or other. I can't remember what it is. But
Foxworthy.
No. Yes, Jeff Foxworthy. And it's
you might be a goblin
if it's kind of similar, but they claim that we didn't know anything about this book when we did this movie. And it's about a offshoot of man, like Neanderthal or something like that has gone underground and been under there for literally hundreds of thousands of years, and it's just evolved to be underground. And we accidentally make contact with it, and they're like, it's a meat-based ecosystem. Okay.
Yeah.
Meat and a little bit of fungi. So basically everything just eats each other down there. So it's very brutal and aggressive. And it just kind of chronicles a couple personal stories, but then how society has to deal with, apparently the cave system was much larger than we previously thought. They get down there. There's a lot of interconnecting caves going under the Atlantic and under the Pacific. And it's just a crazy good old time, but it's pretty damn intense. I love it. So it's one of my favorite books.
I'm terrified of the prospect of caving. I'm terrified of it. Alexander was telling me about that guy who died in Nutty Putty Cave.
Oh, yeah.
And it was horrific. It stuck with me. Don't look up that story if you can't handle it. It is.
What made you two come together and do research on the subject?
My FBI agent knew his FBI agent.
We met in New Orleans, and when we were both down there, and we used to joke about how we were going to move back to the Appalachian region, and we were going to hunt cryptids and then sell beef jerky at gun shows. We have not sold beef jerky at gun shows yet.
I sold beef jerky for a while.
Yeah, but not at gun shows, though.
No.
It's a fine point there. So
we sold knives at the flea market.
At the flea market for a while. So
a tale as old as time.
Yes, indeed. Take Two Wheels is up here. Take Two Wheels has been working nights, man. He's slacking off. Nobody tell his boss.
Moondog says, try cave diving. Yeah.
Gaston, South Carolina.
I got it on here.
Okay.
Gaston. Is that near Gastonia, North Carolina?
Chuck Gonzalez, have you been invited to speak at any Bigfoot conventions? We're not really traditional Bigfoot people, and that was very apparent at the Tennessee Wildman thing.
Yeah. October, I promoted it so much. October 14th and 15th at the Tennessee Wildman.
We were definitely the odd people out there. Definitely. So we don't get invited to a lot of like just flat out Bigfoot things. We did get invited to the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival and Conference, because I guess they're shutting a conference out. But then they invited us, and then they never got back to us. I think they probably watched some of our videos.
They saw our videos.
They saw some of our videos and went, we can't have these people here. This is worst decision ever. We're probably blocked, but that's okay. So
Pork Chop Express says the Lollery Mansion in New Orleans is a crazy story. That is a really crazy story. It's catty corner from one of the best places to get po' boys 24/7 too. So
here we go. L.W. Marshall that was sent by Jeff Long. That's what it was. Haddles. That was Homo hadalis. So they were a almost like a parasitic offshoot, because like all of their art was like made by like human cast off stuff, like take like garbage and turn it into art stuff that they just got their hands on. But again, it was extremely, they were extremely violent. prevent show. Just go.
Kim Drescher says someone needs to start a new conference of strictly all things related to high strangeness. Joe and I eventually may do some sort of thing,
like
but
that.
That's way down the line.
Because you've got UFO conferences, you've got Bigfoot conferences, you've got paranormal conferences, and then usually there's always that offshoot guest. Like the UFO conference might have like a Bigfoot dude at it.
Yeah.
You know, the Bigfoot guy might have a UFO guy at it. The ghost people pretty much just stay to themselves, Jim said. Yeah. So outcasts. But we were thinking about doing that eventually.
Bring me the squonk homie.
The squonk hunters. So
that's gonna be like the laziest cryptid hunters in the world. Goodness gracious.
Actually, that's what you could call it, Hellbent Jerky. If you guys have never eaten Jesse's jerky, it's pretty freaking awesome.
It's legendary.
It's legendary. Your jerky has been to Antarctica.
My jerky has illegally, but I mean, I didn't take it to Antarctica.
Not our problem. So.
But my jerky has my homemade, with my own 2 gnarled hands, crafted beef jerky that has been smuggled into Antarctica. So my jerky has been to the great white south.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
Smuggled into Antarctica.
And guys, would it kill you to hit that like button while we're at it?
Now watch some like the thing situation is gonna happen. It's because they dropped a piece of my beef jerky, it froze for a while, unfroze, infected some sort of dog, went into the station. Mermado is just overrun, and it's because of my demon jerky.
This is building a freaking damn. All right.
I hope you're happy with yourself.
I am very happy. Westminster was that? That was it. Wasn't that Westminster? I don't know. I think that was it. We got an email and then we never heard anything else back. I'm pretty sure they're. I remember this one. Paul Boogler talking about the guy that was sleeping in bed and a sinkhole opened up and basically he just fell into it and they couldn't even get in there to look for him. So
no. That was like Mel's hole.
86 had talked about the PRT Dogman. Yeah, the PRT Dogman conference is pretty much cross spectrum on that stuff. They called it a Dogman conference that first time, but that was probably the best one as far as just having like a weird blend of people.
Yeah, they had a weird blend of people. I don't think there's a lot of Dogman specific people.
Yeah, it was heavy on the Dogman that first year.
Thick on the Dogman.
Hopefully we're going to be able to hit that next year.
Yeah, I'd like to go there.
Yeah, we couldn't do it this year, but Big Boy Conference. Just wanted to throw that.
We have a lot of those. They're called barbecue festivals. Although we could just do pig boy stuff and do barbecue.
You're gonna get busted for dealing illegal jerky now, man. We're gonna have feds at our house going. We hear that you took jerky to the.
I didn't take it.
Scott Yeager had asked this earlier. Could you share a bit more with us about what you saw in the missing? He's talking about the shadow figure that you saw at the LBL that seemed to affect you pretty badly.
Yeah, we both saw it. I've seen it twice now. Right?
You've seen it twice. I've seen it once.
Yeah, you've seen it once. You saw it near that old metal building, and you laughed at me and shrugged me off. And I told you
that is true. Time. If you see it,
I saw it.
That was not. That was at the first abandoned tent.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I saw it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. See, you don't even listen.
I'm paying attention now.
At the first abandoned tent site, I was standing there in what looked to be an old cemetery. There's just small, like worn headstones all around us. And I just saw what looked like this darker than black creature with these long gangly arms, and it moved in a really unnatural way. And then we went over to that site where that metal building was, and we were coming up from the lakeshore, and you saw it, and it looked like it kind of glided across the terrain in a way.
Mm-hmm. It did. It did glide across, and I didn't even realize how much it glided until I went over there and looked at the lay of the land. So.
And then I saw it again at the other abandoned tent site, which we think is in proximity to an old cemetery. Looked the same, but it was a little further away, down kind of in the like the valley area there. Not really a valley, it's much shorter than that. But I saw it down there and it scared the crap out of me. I kind of hyperventilated. I had a bad adrenaline rush. I had to sit down. I was in tears. I have no idea what it could be because it was It had arms, it had legs, it had a head. So I guess it's humanoid. But it didn't have like a human shape. It had a shape of something else. Its arms were unnaturally long, and it seems like the arms almost had like an extra joint to them. There was something very unnatural, and I would dare say evil about it, you know?
Sums it up perfectly. So, some people had asked, let's get to the face peeler stuff because we have that on the title.
Oh, yeah.
Cookie 4X0, and this was like from the beginning of the show. Saw someone who actually went down there to interview the Peruvians. Creepy stuff. So we all know about do you want to give a little backstory on the face peeler thing? Because we're so fascinated with it right now.
So there was a remote village in Peru where these villagers were starting to report that these humanoid creatures were coming out of the jungle on what they described as hoverboards, floating discs. And the description matches the late 90s, early 2000s Spider-Man Green Goblin.
I don't know. I don't watch Marvel movies, but yeah, Green Goblin, the movie Green Goblin.
The movie Green Goblin, but it looked like that, and they had like some kind of armor on, and they were on some sort of hovercraft. Their feet were planted on some sort of hover disc, and they were tearing people's faces off. They grabbed a young girl, and she got away from them, and the media kind of latched onto the story because it's an interesting story, but then it was just poo-pooed away as it was, this is just cartels and illegal gold miners trying to scare the locals. But the technology described here is not in possession of any cartel or illegal gold miner. This is like space age technology that we're talking about. We're talking about somebody on some sort of smooth gliding, self-sustaining hover board or hover disc situation. So they refer to them as the pelicadas, which is like a face peeler type thing.
And there's legends of that go back for like, I don't know how long, but several years at least. So.
There were videos that came out of people being pulled from the river with their entire, I guess that's not degloved when it's your head, but it's demasked face.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a hot topic there for a little bit. And there was a lot of, nothing to see here. The military's come down. This is nothing to see here, nothing to see here. It's fine. But these people were left with nothing, left terrified, left in their village, terrified to venture outside of their village to gather food, to farm, to do anything. They're stuck there and they're left in terror, and everybody just abandoned them. They were abandoned by their government. They were abandoned by their military. They were abandoned by everybody. Fast forward to Tim Alvarino. He is an adventurer. Would you just call him an adventurer?
I call him an adventurer. Yeah, I don't throw that
total
term
stud.
Around. Yeah, total stud. So
he goes down there and he takes a bunch of supplies with him, which is great. He didn't just go down there with a bunch of cameras and be like, "Sucks to be you. Can you do an interview?" He brought a bunch of supplies. He spent a lot of time in South American jungles with villages and kind of being a part of their culture. And so they accepted him. He was very respectful, and they accepted him and spoke to him. But he was down there for several days, brought tons of supplies to the village. Like I said, they're unable to leave the village to really gather food or farm or anything like that. He got down there and they had clear cut the jungle around the village because that was the way that these pelicadas were coming from the jungle. So at least they had some kind of line of sight. In addition to food aid that he brought down there, he brought high-powered flashlights. He had a couple people with him who helped him train up the people of the village so that they didn't shoot each other because they were kind of barrel sweeping each other the entire time they were there. And one woman was actually killed in a trap that they had set for these things. Oh no, she wasn't killed. She was greatly injured.
They think she might have lost her legs.
So there's a lot of danger there. So they taught them kind of how to do this safely, how to form lines of defense and do this properly so they can actually be equipped to defend themselves. He put out a video about it, and he kind of went over all of this with the people that he went down there, one of the guys that he went down there with. And there was a lot of things that really struck me about, about them going over this whole thing. One of the villagers described the craft, like a main craft that came by in proximity of this thing, and in proximity of this incident, as being acorn shaped. So that's just like Kecksburg, right? This perfectly like acorn shaped thing, not a disc, not, a triangle, acorn shaped. So that, I thought that was kind of interesting, that kind of connection to Kecksburg. One disturbing thing, there was a girl, she's about 14. She survived an attack. She described two of these people or these things. They're in armor, so you don't know if they're humans or not. They're completely concealed. But she described them as using some sort of powder and cream and putting it on her face. And she claims that one of them told the other one not to use too much. It'll damage the flesh.
They were speaking to each other in Spanish. She said the smaller one was speaking Peruvian accented Spanish.
And the other one was a gringo.
Sounded like a gringo, like how a Caucasian North American would speak Spanish, and he was the taller of the two. So
that was freaking disturbing to me. I thought that was very unsettling.
Well, the part that I saw too is that he said that she was the only one who reported them speaking, anybody speaking.
Nobody
else
said
that she may have just invented that detail due to the stress.
Yeah.
He was reasonably certain that the attack actually happened.
Now they said that even when these things were shot, that they didn't even like cry out in pain or anything.
No. So they're bulletproof, and so the story kind of got viral. All of these like TikTok videos are coming out of villagers there. They've got really crappy, like Chinese, like, just bottom tier smartphones. Now this activity has been reported there for like generations, but now they've got something to record it with. It's just the recordings aren't that great. So they were putting these recordings out, and it made like nationwide or worldwide news, I guess you could say. And then the debunking started up. Then it was, well, that's okay because the government's gone in and it's illegal miners who are backed by the cartel who have experimental jetpacks and bulletproof armor, which makes them look like 7-foot tall goblins.
Yeah.
Just run of the mill illegal miners with experimental technology. And the story just kind of like fell off the front page, and then you never heard about it anymore. Well, Timothy Alberino was just like, well, listen, we've seen what the government posts. They post equipment that they seize from these illegal miners online to show them how they're like fighting the crime down there. And he goes, it's rickety boats. It's like, really cheap, like, walkie-talkies, like you would just buy off Amazon,
They even discussed that this was not an illegal gold mine situation, but a human trafficking and organ trafficking situation.
Yeah. So he went down there. Grace W's got a good thing here too that I wanted to, because I agree with her on this. I think Tim Alberino is hilarious. He's so puffed up, it makes me laugh, but I do really like his work, but I can't stop laughing at him long enough to pay attention. We did say that he was pretty friggin' affected. You know what I'm saying? He has some very affected mannerisms.
He's like Indiana Jones, Zach Bagans.
He's like Indiana Jones if like Indiana Jones was a character on Zoolander, is what I think.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly, that's great.
Right. So that's exactly it. So, but at the same token,
still total stud.
He went there.
Yeah, he actually did it.
And he went down there and checked it out. And he came away going, this is really happening. That he thought that there might be a chance that there was some human involvement, that there might be people involved, but that maybe they were coordinating or associated with non-human intelligences. And that's how they had this technology. Okay. But then he was also going on about like insectilids, like tall insect-like aliens, the ones that are usually seen as being in charge of like the alien greys and all of that. And he was going on about insectilids, that he thinks that's what's going on. So he took them, in addition to food supplies, took them thermal scopes, and what are you laughing about? You got something good? And night vision cameras that can record.
You're going to get mad if I do this.
What is it? Go ahead. So
Elias Barnes says he brought in seals to train them. And I was like, what is a seal going to train them to do? Catch a fish? Go on. I'll see myself out.
I'll see myself out. Grace thinks we're doing a good job. He's definitely impressed with himself. He is, man.
He is.
We were doing that. We were
He's
even going
down to like one button down here. His shirt is so unbuttoned.
Oh, I know. And he's got the Errol Flynn going on there. But at the same token, he went there. And I don't really know that much about him beyond this. Some people have been saying some he breathes over things not taught, but it's written down. People have very strong opinions about him, like both ways here. And they, and I don't know that much about him, but I will say he went there. And right now we've been fascinated with this face peeler story, where here's a guy who speaks the language, is familiar with the region, that's open to this stuff. He went down there, and that's regardless. And that's pretty much all I know about him at this point, other than Zoolander, Indiana Jones. But as it stands right now,
face peelers are so hot right now.
Face peelers are so hot right now. They are hot right now. But I'm interested in it because we keep talking about how there's obviously more public interest and people are publicly more open to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So stories get more headway now, but then you see a very organized, like, debunking campaign. You know what I'm saying? You know, like the modern version of Project Blue Book and their swamp gas is like just out there, and it's like working overtime at this point. And that's what happened with this. Now you've got somebody who went there and he goes, no, the government never came in and said that. A couple police officers from a nearby like town, because these are just villages, came in because the girl was almost abducted by something. And they were the ones who spent a little bit of time there. They spent a few hours there, and then they just made the pronouncement. It's just the illegal miners. Well, they're flying. They must have got a hold of jetpacks, you know. They're bulletproof. Must have got a hold of some armor too.
Yeah.
7 feet tall. That's that armor. You know, don't know what to tell you. We're going back to the city now. You guys enjoy your nightly attacks by face-peeling aliens in your bamboo huts here. So peace out. So he went down there and he confirmed this. So as far as the only person who's gone down there and actually investigated from the outside has come back and gone, there's something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The attacks, or whatever you want to call them, the incursions seem to have slowed down. And now there are, sorry, saw this Tropic Thunder vibe. That's pretty damn, yeah, that's pretty damn good too. There seems to be something going on. There seems to be something going on down there. And that the debunking was just because nobody went, oh, minor. Well, I guess some people did. I guess some people who just want it to not be true. And when you want it to not be true, you're going to believe anything that's trotted out for an explanation. Mm-hmm. It's like that debunking where people are debunking stuff and you just go, you're really grasping at straws here, man. You know, what you're telling me seems more impossible than what you're trying to debunk. And I think that apparently the activity is spreading to surrounding villages as well. The activity is slowing down there, but they're starting to experience in other places, almost if the activity is spreading out.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be
You think this story's not over?
No, it's not over. There's too much, you know, that part of like South America has got so much stuff. So much stuff going on that everybody's pretty impressed with my Zoolander Indiana Jones thing. Elias Barnes also said that they cleared out an area around the village because
I was just making a joke about the seals thing. I know that's what the seals did. I was talking about seals. That was a joke.
Glad you cleared that up. So they cleared out an area around the village because they
seriously asking what did the seals do? But
yeah. So anyway, I'm done. I got nothing else. Just end the damn show. But it's going to be pretty cool to see how this story kind of evolves down there. So. Ooh, Susan C's got a good thing. I think the girl may have heard mine speak and not realized it since no one else has heard them talk.
That's a possibility.
That's a very good possibility.
Because people have, weird Sasquatch encounters all the time. Not everybody has mind speak occur to them.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
Way of the Sploot says, I always love saying that. Some of the older photos of cattle mutilation show the skin of the head and face removed. Maybe the creature thing has gone on to people. There's been several instances of people being the subject of what would be considered cattle mutilation, human mutilation.
Yeah.
But it's surgical in nature, just like these animal mutilations are. Mm-hmm. And it seems like a lot of that happens in South America, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually been, and what's weird is that the mutilation phenomenon in North America United States especially, it's confined to like cattle. Okay. But there are cases of human mutilation phenomenon in South America. And that's gone back, I think the first case I can think of was back in like the late 80s, early 90s, late 80s, I think. But that they have found human mutilation down there. So it seems like the phenomenon is more aggressive and more dangerous down there. Lady Wolf had asked for a knife check. We don't really have anything special tonight. We've just got our little, got a Cold Steel Recon 1. That's like my everyday carry blade.
Every knife is special.
Every knife is special. I didn't mean to.
All right. I have a Cold Steel Recon 1, but I got the little baby version. That little child size right there. They're handy. They're good. They're solid knives. Good stuff.
Pretty damn good. So,
Good stuff.
People talking about robotic armor. Yes, he was proud of drinking the women spitting into the bucket fermented bamboo roots.
Oh, you didn't like it? Personally, I love it. I still drink it. I drink it right now. I'm drinking it right now. It's great. I like a woman's spit in my mouth.
Jack Hunt, you can post the question here. We will try to get to it, or you can always email us. We were behind on emails as always. Encrypted Connections is here.
I have lost this. There it is. Joe will never calm down, Kyle, ever. All right.
All right. Guys, we're not running super late tonight. Oh, but EDP Everyday Pyro had said, join the Discord. We do have a Discord up for members.
Yes.
It's still it's in its infancy, but if you guys want to jump on.
Yeah. So it's for members. And if you're a member, hop on that Discord and start posting. It works like a forum. There's an open chat. It's a general chat area where you can just, talk openly about whatever. And then there is a more organized forum set up as well, where you can post about whatever you want, start a thread on stuff, and introduce some discussion with fellow Hellbenders.
Somebody had asked earlier, and I accidentally unstarted. Not on my A game tonight. If we do speak to witnesses, and we do upon occasion, if it's something that we can look at firsthand, or if it's something that kind of ties in with something we're currently looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to possibly be incorporating that into the show going forward. So if you've got an encounter, shoot it over to us. This was good. Todd Mitchell, have you ever been anywhere else where a helicopter seems to be looking for you, like the OBO? Now they do like helicopter training down through there.
Yeah, you got Fort Campbell nearby.
So, but they only seem to do that weird circling over. And then guess what? Let's just look at the possibilities on that. That might be guys out doing training and they're going, are those people down there? What the hell are they doing in that area at night? And just looking at us. It may be completely innocent, but it only seems to happen in a couple of areas.
Yeah.
Areas that have already weird stuff going on there. So
the only places we've actually seen them is in the alleged 1982 massacre site, the area where Martin had his encounter, and that closed down campground where we think a incident occurred in the early 80s as well.
Yeah. Danny Kopach, have you guys ever witnessed blinking lights moving through the forest that seem to have an intelligence about them? I've witnessed two from my bedroom, and I'm now a big believer. All the time. That's why we have such a variety of camera equipment, because we were seeing them and we couldn't get them on the standard camcorder, night vision camcorder we were using. And it was just video of us going, do you see that? And then it was nothing there. And it was infuriating us, and it was infuriating everybody watching the videos. So now we have two different night vision camcorders. One's the old crappy original Amazon warehouse special that we got that has terrible sound and very little range. But we have a Psionics Aurora Pro. We've got a couple of Phasm full spectrum cameras. We got all sorts of stuff there. But we have seen them, and it does look like they move intelligently. They seem like they interact with you to a certain extent. Marcus Aurelius, you're going to move into the UFO phenomenon. Not
entirely. Not
that standard 1950s, 1960s UFO stuff, the craft lands and a little freaking steps come out and it walks down and
Bleep bloop.
bleep
Bleep bloop. On my blorp blorp.
bleep glorp. But they but as far as like the UAP phenomenon that I think we've already been kind of looking into it to a certain extent. You know?
I mean, we think that the brown mountain lights are sort of a UAP type phenomenon.
So yeah. All right. So finding the trackway. What's up? I have to ask. Any reports of hearing woohoos in the woods and any significance? Have we ever heard like a woohoo?
Woohoo. No.
I don't think so.
Like woo.
We've heard like, yeah, just like.
And whoops and stuff. But
I wondered if you've met David Paulides. We met him at a function, but not, he has no clue who in the hell we are. We were just some other faces. And what do you think is causing the missing 411 cases?
I think it's a variety of phenomena.
Exactly right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's, I think that the weirder ones, there's some sort of interdimensional calls to it. And I think they're interdimensional. The UFO topic is kind of just conjoined nowadays. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's into that. I don't think it's all like Sasquatch out there snatching people or like human serial killers, but I think there's an interdimensional aspect. And then I think there's some sort of UFO abduction aspect to it.
Yeah.
So
did you tell Kyle I have a fetish for homunculi?
I did tell him about your fetish for homunculi.
Well,
yes.
Appreciate it, Joe. Sharing my homunculus stories, huh?
All right. Quinn Montoya, what do you think of the, I don't know if you've seen this, the MH370s video that has been going around the net that has gotten like some resurgence? They show
that it's being followed by
like UAPs and then a portal opens up and it goes. I don't know. I've had people, I don't know enough about it. I've had people tell me that it's fake and here's why. Fake. And then I've had people tell me it's real and here's why. And unfortunately, I don't have the skill set to tell either way. So
I probably shouldn't sit here just waving a knife around, should I?
I'm gonna end up with like freaking eye patch next week. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, you know what? You give one, you take one.
You get one, you take one. So, all right, guys. If you guys have got anything else, go ahead and lay it on us.
Yeah, we're not going super.
We're not running super late tonight. We were. There was a possibility of us not doing the show tonight just because we're kind of wiped out, but.
And I have to finish Equinox.
She has to finish Equinox.
So, did you guys see the preview for Equinox? I was so excited about that. That is up. I put that up an hour before showtime tonight. We are so excited about Equinox coming out. And then there's going to be like a full length Equinox. It's going to be the two parts together with extra footage.
So, all right, guys, this is going to be a short one. If anybody's got anything, speak now, because otherwise we're wrapping it up pretty quick.
Yeah, I know. We've been just going for the last.
Paul, we have not seen Barton's latest live stream. We have not really watched a lot since we got back. We got back from the LBL, went back to work, and then I have not seen that. So I think somebody else had asked about that as well. So I don't. That might have been you.
What
about you? That might have been Paul. So.
Oh.
Jitesh Patel, good Lord Almighty!
Good God, Jitesh
Jesus
Patel.
Lord, Jitesh, we can't quit now.
Well,
Jitesh,
settle in, boys.
Settle in, boys. We're going a little bit longer. Jitesh just bought y'all some more time there. Jitesh, thank you for that, man. Good Lord, thank you.
Jitesh Patel always coming in the.
Good Lord, thank you for that. Jitesh was like MIA for a while, and then we saw him.
And he comes back hard.
Saw him on like the PRT's live stream one night, and I said hey to him, and now he's just hitting it hard, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
we're shocked and humbled. Thank you so much. So.
Well, they're really coming in now. Look at this. Now you woke them up, Joe.
Now everybody's coming. Now everybody's coming alive, man. Thank you for that, Jitesh. I can't thank you enough. Marcus follows up with that question for you both. Is there a phenomenon out there that you don't subscribe to?
Yeah, I mean, there's like cryptids that I don't believe in at all. There's this whole thing, and I think it's died down a bit now, but there was a period in time not too long ago where that seemed like it was a cryptid of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the cryptid thing was like a collecting of a Pokemon. Like I hate the squonk. I made a joke about the squonk earlier, squonk hunters.
I think that there might be one-off things that kind of come over. Like I always think about the fact that the Mothman is seen in different parts of the world, that maybe that's something that bleeds over from somewhere else. And there's just a bunch of them, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of them to bleed over like for a little while. So I think that some of these like little one-off cryptids might just be like kind of a one-off crossover from somewhere. I used to dismiss a lot of this stuff and didn't think a lot of this stuff was possible. And I just thought a lot of it was just, it's wishful thinking. It's people getting swept up in the topic. People want it to be real.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I've experienced some of that stuff myself or talked to very credible people who've experienced some of that stuff. So I'm very cautious in dismissing anything now.
I'm trying to go. I'm back now. I'm back behind.
You're back behind. I will say this. I think a lot of the lake monster phenomenon is hard to believe. There you go. Now, a lot of like ocean monster type stuff, totally plausible. Doesn't even need a.
There needs to be a separation.
But some of the lake monster phenomenon, if it's interdimensional and it's crossing over somehow, so it's crossing over from a body of water into another body of water, it just starts to get a little overly complex. But again, it's intelligently controlled. But lake monster phenomenon doesn't interest me still to this point. But guess what? I might be sitting here 6 months from now going, lake monsters are our new things, guys. So
not if I'm here, you got to find another person to do some lake monster stuff with.
People are wanting Jitesh to adopt them.
All right. We've got a bunch. Y'all just coming in the clinch here.
Looks like we're sticking around now. Yeah, Ray Provencio, you two are awesome. Appreciate all you do. Thank you for that. Thank you. So,
Encrypted Connections. Thank you, sir.
Encrypted Connections, you don't have to do that,
kind sir. I hear our neighbors screaming.
Oh, good Lord. So we live in town now. We're not out in the woods anymore. So, people are just going, Jitesh coming in swinging.
He does.
He's just like, without question. So, all right.
He just Leroy Jenkins.
The entire chat. Whoa. Okay.
E-Rip. I got 5 on it.
Thank you for that.
Oh, Jesus. Ivan Ramirez asked, how about Pig Man or Lizard Man? Any interest in that? Pig Boy is real. We know
Pig Boy is real. Pig Boy is real.
Lizard Man, that's in South Carolina. We're located in South Carolina. And Joe kind of got back and forth with a guy on
I've talked about this before, but we like buy and sell knives. And we're actually getting ready to sell a bunch of knives off because we need to invest in some equipment upgrades. So the knife collection is going to get thinned out. But because we need a new thermal more than we need a different knife every week. But I was either selling or buying a knife from a guy on like a Facebook group, and he was in South Carolina. And I'm going, oh, cool, you're nearby. You know, you have to get a little getting to know each other so each of you know the other one's not getting scammed. And he was near Skateboard Swamp where the Lizard Man is. And I'm just like, whoa, we look into like weird type stuff. And he was just like, well, let me let you in on a secret. It's not real. My uncles were involved in the original hoax. This was just hoaxed. It's not real. It's a well-known topic around here. It's not real. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, it's like learning there's no Santa Claus. There's no Lizard Man, but that's all right. So, so we did it, you know, I was shipping him the knife. That's it. So like, I always take a lot of pride when we sell stuff like this to make sure that the shipping is good and the description's good, because again, I buy knives from people and I want to have a good experience. So I want other people to have a good experience.
You're a good man.
I'm a good man, Joe. So I sent him the knife and then he got back in touch with me and he's like, hey, thank you. It arrived. I appreciate it. I'm like, all right, awesome. Good deal. And then he goes, by the way, I didn't want to tell you that I wasn't telling you the truth before. We just tell people that to keep people from coming down here looking for it. We don't want to get overran by like a bunch of like finding Bigfoot types, like finding Lizard Man types. So I'm going, so what are you telling me right now? And he goes, oh, everybody around here knows it's real. Everybody down here has relatives who have had sightings and everything like that. But that was a few years ago. Now, since then, they've started having like a Lizard Man conference.
Yeah.
Or a festival.
Yeah, there's actually a Lizard Man diner down there.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Alan. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Eventually, we're going to go down there. It's not that far. It's south of us.
We're going to go in the winter because we're not going in the swamp in the summertime.
Now, of course, he's cold-blooded. He's a Lizard Man. He might be. We're just going to find a big old rock that he's laid out on, you know.
Put some heat lamps out.
Heat lamps.
And then come back and check him out. Actually, it's not a bad idea.
That's how we're going to get him. Actually a pretty good idea. You know, it's an interesting little factoid.
I need the biggest heat lamp you've got. Okay, well,
get those heat rocks.
We can handle like a 4-foot iguana, bigger.
I got about a 7-foot tall.
About 7-8 foot tall iguana that's like upright. Thank you for that again, Alan. We appreciate it.
Little factoid: they had the alleged footprints on display on a bed of butter beans.
Mm-hmm.
in the museum.
Why butterbeans?
Maybe it's a butterbean town. I don't know.
It's a butterbean town.
Only butterbeans in this town.
Isn't Lake Placid the one with the big alligator?
Yeah.
Don't do alligators. Don't do alligators. Wait, is Bronwyn having surgery?
What's the one with J-Lo? Anaconda.
That's Anaconda. Bronwyn, if you're having surgery, I hope it goes well.
Let us know how you are. Positive. Yeah, everybody put out positive vibes for Bronwyn. Positive vibes, prayers. If you do that sort of thing, absolutely. And we hope that you get on the mend and come back to us.
So Ivan Ramirez has a comment that
quickly
actually touches upon something that I thought about like about a week or two ago. He goes, could we be cryptids to them, the cryptids? And I was thinking
about M. Night Shyamalan's hit film The Others, starring Nicole Kidman.
Is that where they're the ghosts?
They're the ghosts.
They're the
big
ghosts.
Twist at the end.
But I was thinking, I wonder if like occasionally with this, because I think a lot of this stuff's interdimensional. I think it comes over from somewhere else. It's not here all the time. Otherwise, we'd have specimens. We'd have it in a cage. I wonder if things from this planet, because you think that people sometimes cross over. Mm-hmm. Some of those missing 411 cases talk about that, where people all of a sudden go through like a mist, and then all of a sudden they've hiked that trail 100 times. They don't know where they're at anymore. You know, there was a case where people were searching for whoever was missing, and they heard them yelling, but they could never find them, as if they were like on the other side of a veil. But I wonder if sometimes our wildlife, like terrestrial, normal Earth wildlife, crosses over and shows up somewhere else briefly, and people are going, what in the hell is that? You know, it's a giraffe or something like that. I don't know. Or it could be something just like a possum or a raccoon or something like that that shows up over there.
Marsupial.
A marsupial of some sort. So
Marcus Aurelius asked, oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
A bat boy investigation? I would totally do a bat boy investigation. Because you know what? I want to throw this out there real quick. I always forget to mention this. I might have mentioned this once before. I always give credit to what got me into this.
Weekly World News.
With my, whatever I saw or dreamed that I saw or thought that I saw or got hoaxed as a kid, or then I always mention in search of.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that really got me into this is I had a great aunt who got every newspaper every
Weekly World News,
the Inquirer, back when the Inquirer was good and not just a gossip thing. But she collected all of those, and she'd buy every one that was out there, and then she'd save them for me. So we went over to visit her. She'd give them to me. So I'm sitting there reading about Bigfoot, Bat Boy, stuff like that. And I think that's what struck the spark for weirdness in me.
Nobody ever mentions the Weekly World News. My mom would never buy them for me. I wanted them so bad. I was like, please.
I'd get bunches of them because she got them all, man. So she got them all. So
Bat Boy.
A lot of people praying for Bronwyn. I'm hoping everything goes fine.
Yeah, Bronwyn.
We would do a Bat Boy investigation.
Wait, isn't Bat Boy married to Elizabeth Taylor on Mars now?
Is that what's going on here? I don't know. Somebody had mentioned earlier about, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, Kamazats, which is a death bat or a snatch bat. And I've never even heard of that before. It's a Mayan bat god, but I guess it is a thing with, it's a deity, but I'm wondering if people are seeing it. I actually put a thing on it. We have never had, when I saw that thing on the LBL with the thermal, I thought it was like a big bat because of the way the ears were going. Cryptid Response was on here. When I showed him that photo, he goes, it looks like the cat from the battery. What is that? Ever Ready, that has the black cat with that. And I'm going, these ears don't look canine-like, but they matched up perfectly with all the other stuff that's on there, all the other witness accounts that are there. Ghetto Yeti is talking about how the 1.6 signal has been found all over Peru. Do a little note on that. 1.6 gigahertz signal in Peru. So
I just hear chaos outside.
I hear chaos outside. So reptilian fighting Tracker. Boy Tracker's talking about he has a report of a reptilian fighting a Bigfoot. at a high mountain airport. The report of some undercover drug agent.
Jesus Christ, there's a lot of elements to this story.
There's a lot of elements to that story. So, all right,
did he get into his own drugs that he was?
Good night. So
he was deep undercover.
Saber-toothed man story encounters. We got to have a call-in show one night, but it's got to be like a game. You know what I'm saying? I want like Saber-toothed man. You know, I want like I want DEA agents getting into gunfights with battling like reptilians and Sasquatches at like, you know, the Denver airport, you know, underground.
Cool stuff.
I know. Freaking awesome stuff. So.
Hellbent Holler News.
Kim Drescher is always coming out with the weirdness. In the 70s, I was driving with my friend up to her house in Floyd Knobs, Indiana, and there were jars everywhere. I asked her why. She said they're filled with pig's blood and they keep demons away. Is that a real thing?
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure. You don't know about the jars of pig blood?
Right.
Beagle Boys rolling in hot. MLS 78. What are your take on feral people? Do you think they're a whole community, small family, or strays? I think there are inbred families in parts of Appalachia that pretty much meet the definition of feral people. That just through seclusion, lack of healthcare, poor diet, inbreeding, and just general, you know, law of the jungle type stuff, because that's how they've survived, that they're very aggressive to people. And they're also smart. They're still people, you know. But I think that it could be very small communities, but I think they'd be family-based. I don't see a stray, unless you had somebody who went there just to kind of like disconnect from society and just evolved at that point. So.
Christopher Lineberry, could you send me information? What do you mean by little people? Y'all do an on-site show on the people. There's supposed to be a little people cemetery in Kentucky or Tennessee somewhere. It's supposed to be like hundreds of graves there. Are you talking about little people or Cherokee little people? Clarify if you can. I'm going to a dwarf cemetery.
Grace W. Weekly World News was my favorite one. Okay, so this is when like it's not my favorite one. It's my least favorite one. This is when Cabbage Patch Kids were getting like really big. I know you're too young to remember that.
I had Cabbage Patch Kids.
I remember they came with birth certificates.
Yes.
So, and they were supposed to be so lifelike.
And they had a signature on their butt.
So there was did they really?
Yeah.
Okay,
see?
So
I know.
my sisters, I had two sisters, they had a ton of like Cabbage Patch Kids. They were like proud of because they were really hard to get at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now that I look back, they had quite a few. So I'm sure my family got up to some nefarious stuff to get these Cabbage Patch Kids. But anyway, the article, like the National Enquirer, had a picture of a Cabbage Patch Kid with a demonic face, like floating, and this terrified family, and then a priest like holding a cross out with a stern look on his face, like towards it. And I'm like, what is this? You know, because I'm a kid and like we've got all these Cabbage Patch Kids in the house. The story went that Cabbage Patch Kids were so lifelike, they were getting possessed by the devil.
My God.
Yes, indeed. They were getting possessed by the devil. And that the Catholic Church was overwhelmed. It didn't have enough exorcists to go out and handle the problem. And it was like
they just kept producing these Cabbage Patch Kids.
And yes, they wouldn't stop. So these families are being terrorized by possessed Cabbage Patch dolls.
Oh, God.
So I was fascinated with this story. So my bedroom at the time was at the end of a long hallway. So if I sat up in bed and looked down, I'd be able to look down the hallway, and there's several doors to either side. And so I'm laying in bed, and if you want to kind of get insight as to why I am the way I am.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right.
All right.
So I wake up, something wakes me up, and I set up and look, and my uncles had taken Cabbage Patch Kids and put them in small rocking chairs. There's like 8, 10, 12 of them. And they were all rocking in the hallway, staring at me with just like a little bit of light coming in from our pole light outside that would come into the window. And I just remember setting up and staring at them. And then I was overwhelmed with fear. And I just slowly laid back down and pulled the blankets up. And then I could hear them now, in retrospect, snickering and taking the Cabbage Patch dolls away. But I didn't know what the sound was. I thought it was the Cabbage Patch dolls, but that was literally it.
They've done this to you.
They've done this to me. They've done this
I'm a product of my environment.
Yes. So, wants to know if we've ever used Drones for exploring. We're about to. We got a drone coming, but I crashed our last drone. I wish I could say that it was overtaken by mysterious forces, but I'm a crappy drone pilot. So Jesse's.
I have the footage of that untimely crash.
Marcus Aurelius. It's just enough to keep you guys here for a while.
I'm gonna have to get a snack or something.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Joe can hear my tummy right now.
What? Hold on. So Jitesh, in addition to being insanely generous and a baller, I have a couple of reptilian stories that personally happened to me. One was beyond belief. Jitesh, put the email address back up there. Jitesh, email us at this email address.
You want the mine or the general?
Hellbent Holler. Yeah.
Pew.
Boop. Email us that because I want to hear it. So.
Hang on. The Cabbage Patch has taken over the chat.
Christopher Lindbergh is going, it's interesting to read those papers. I'm a slow learner and reader when I was a kid, and it's kind of what I used to teach myself to read. So I know all about these strange things. I would just read them like you wouldn't believe. So L.W. Marshall had mentioned that when Dennis Martin disappeared, our ranger admitted they know about people living off the grid in the Smoky Mountains. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about our friend over at South Force 10, which is a YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't. Talking about how I believe it was his uncles got hired to go in and kind of like amongst with some other locals who
feral
had like,
people killed team
and had to like thin out the feral people population. So
I got one.
What do you got?
Bristol says, I remember hearing about the Little People burial site. I believe it was a mass grave at the site of a battle between a local tribe and a tribe of Little People. That reminds me, at Western Carolina University in Sylvan, North Carolina, they allegedly, when they were remodeling and building some new buildings there, they discovered these underground tunnels and they found like burial sites for Little People. And one of the professors there used to keep tiny skulls on his desk, but a lot of the evidence from that is gone over the years. But that was kind of the story of the Cherokee Little People and Western Carolina University.
Pretty groovy.
Groovy. The Cabbage Patchery here.
That thing, like, I'm serious, man. My other thing is that I was on the second floor of my bedroom, and there was a window above the head of my bed, and the light, like that I mentioned from that pole light, was like out there, would come in through there. And one night, it was summertime. I had my normal window open. It was just the screen there, you know. They got on a ladder and got up to the second floor, and they had one of those rubber witch hands, like gnarly with like the claws on it. And it's all bulbous and whatnot, you know, and we're scratching on and I just laid there going, you know, just trembling. So a lot of psychological torture in the Doyle household. So.
There still is.
Carrying on the tradition. So carrying on the
Kentucky Boy 22 says, Jesse and Joe, have you guys ever thought about having call-ins to the show? Yes, that's something we're going to put into the works, is having a call-in show akin to our boy Art Bell. So yes, absolutely.
We're thinking about doing it. So I guess somebody got like banned earlier. Somebody was making rude comments.
Yeah, I put somebody in timeout.
What were the comments? Do you not want to? You can tell me later. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to ban somebody for saying something. Then I'm just going to sit here and just spout it off in the chat. That's what I'm going to do.
All right. All right.
I'll tell you later.
Furbies are creepy.
But if you're douche, you get banned. Furbies are creepy, yeah. Have you seen one defleshed? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's gonna be the clip you put up for this week. Furbies are creepy. Have you seen one defleshed?
It's just mechanical components of the Furby with no fur.
No, I've not seen one. Have you defleshed one? So
maybe.
So all right, a couple quick things here. Ghetto Yeti, the 1.6 gigahertz signals. It has used for comms. It is used for comms. It also seems to be connected to strong coupling in the areas with quartz, H2O, metamaterials, like strange phenomenon. We only, if it's like a communications and all that, you might like see it in bursts or a constant signal. We've only found it in North Georgia the day after in that one area with a portal, UAP, whatever you want to call it. It just seems like it comes and goes, and but there is mundane 1.6 gigahertz signals being used out there. He's very right. And Jitesh is saying that a call-in show would be the best. We need to do a call-in show. We need to figure out how to do it.
I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen because I want to do it so bad. I just want to do it so bad. Even if it would just be me, like getting stuff. But I think if you'd like to be involved, I'd really like.
I'll be in the other room, and if you don't get any good guests, I'll just call in with like weird voices.
Hello?
This is
Mildred Davis.
Joel from
This is
Joel
Moyle.
Joel Moyle. So I haven't asked if there's any activity on the Saluda River. One thing that we've heard about, but I don't know if there's a lot. Do you get more of those reports?
I know the guy that does Saluda River Rambler. I can ask him if he does any kind of if he knows of any kind of stuff. He's a kayaking guide on the Saluda River. Mm-hmm. He asked us to do a moonlight kayak thing.
Where do a spooky kayaking thing.
It's like a full moon kayaking thing. I've never been kayaking, so before I do something like that, I should
need to learn how to kayak.
Probably do the kayaking part.
Just a canoe.
Now
it's basically just like it's like macho kayak.
Katie's friend found all those human remains when they were kayaking on the Saluda, so there's that. Defleshed Furbies.
All right.
A defleshed Furby would just be a bee.
Just a bee?
No fur.
Quinn Montoya said, I like the lightning detector idea. We stole that from, here's the deal. We come up with some cool crap that then I see other people using 6 months after we did it. And maybe they just never saw us do it, even though we've talked. Anyway.
Or they asked us about it.
And then take it and start using it themselves. That unfortunately happens more often than not. But when we caught that 1.6 gigahertz signal, people started telling us about Skinwalker Ranch. So we went out to look and see, look on YouTube because we don't have cable. We're weird. We went to see if we could find something about that 1.6 gigahertz signal. And I saw they were wearing lightning detectors. And I thought that was a great idea, especially when I heard why they were wearing lightning detectors. So we completely lifted that off of Skinwalker Ranch. That's not anything we came up with at all. Very open about that.
I was working on the Equinox 2 video today. And you remember I told you were not acting like yourself at all. You were setting up the beacon. And my lightning detector goes off. And I went, lightning detector. And then it goes off again. And I said, lightning detector just went off again. And you just went, I'm not really doing something for that right now. So, and I was just like, oh my God. Like we both were so out of it and weird.
Yeah, that was a weird night. So, Marcus Aurelius, thank you. Throwing that money at us, trying to keep us online. We're just dancing puppets. Anyway, did you guys see the movie Megan? Cool AI doll movie. Is that the thing that had the dance that went viral, the Megan dance, where it was doing the weird Uncanny Valley dance?
Are you talking about the Blade Runner dance?
No. There's a movie called Megan.
That's
about a little AI doll thing.
We've not seen it, obviously. We've not seen it. No, we have not.
But this was the... Hold on. Here you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My little tummy's going.
That right there, remember? The weird dance that I guess you don't. You're so out of touch.
What are the kids doing today? Is that a TikTok?
Is that a TikTok? So all right, so
Saluda, Indiana. No, I'm talking Saluda River in South Carolina.
Take a cordless vacuum with you to the LBL. You'll get Dogman's attention. Must attack vacuum.
No cats, though.
I am thinking about, I'll go and throw this out there and see who steals it. People use like dog whistles. I want to try to get some of those like ultrasound devices that get rid of pests and bats and dogs and everything like that. I want to get like a bunch of them and put them up and see if we can send out some sort of really strong, like ultrasonic.
300 trail cams.
300 trail cams. But get like a bunch of them and just send out a very strong ultrasonic sound to see if we can either piss something off or draw something in.
Yeah.
So
it's always the goal, I think. Piss something off or draw something in.
All right, we're going 5 more minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Right as I see that, I see Marcus going, "Go eat, guys. Thank you for tonight. We're going."
You can probably hear my tummy. It is going off.
Christopher Lindbergh is. I mentioned this in one of the things, but you are right. It's at 1.6. Of course, you're taking it a little bit further. 1.8 gigahertz signal is equivalent to the golden ratio signal, and the golden ratio shows up just constantly. I had mentioned it one night, just that it was weird and that it was something that I didn't hear a lot of people talking about, and I don't know if anybody else has talked about it at this point. I don't know if there's been any discussion on it, or there could be people out there that have full-blown conversations and theories about it. It's strange when you think about it, that again, that golden ratio ties into a lot of this weirdness. So yeah. I don't know.
Pork Chop Express says, I'm getting y'all one of those roller dog cookers to keep in the studio on Monday nights. That's when we have arrived, is if we get our very own,
and just have it like here right off camera, and then
we're just fixing gas station hot dogs
like all night long.
Oh my God, that sounds so good right now.
So. All right, guys, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Yep. Thank you guys for joining us for the show tonight. You guys are awesome. Keep an eye out. Equinox 2 drops this week. I put out the teaser for it an hour before the show tonight. So
teaser's really freaking good.
You like that?
You did a really good job on that. I mean, I was there, and it was a weird, scary, disturbing night, and I even watched it going,
what happens?
What happens next? You did a great job.
It's very weird. I'm
so.
editing it. I'm almost done. I'm trying to figure out how to present the last stuff that happens because it's so bizarre. So I'm trying to figure out how to present that. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to put that out. So you guys can watch Equinox 2. If you haven't seen Equinox Part 1, it sets you up. It's the beginning of that night. It's the scout from the day, beginning of that night. We find a creepy hole with stuff in it. Yeah, keep an eye out for Equinox 2.
Everybody that signed up for memberships, thank you so much.
Members, you'll be getting a members only scouting video from the LBL.
But you guys are helping immensely.
Yeah.
It's keeping us going because we had kind of hit the wall.
Yeah.
As far as being able to do some of the stuff we wanted to do.
So we couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are the MVPs. We appreciate all of our members for contributing to this. We were just rode hard and put away wet when it comes to doing this. But this has reinvigorated us. We feel like
y'all are keeping us going.
Yeah.
So Chris says, don't have the hot dogs before 9 a.m. He pays attention. He pays attention to these shows. So anyway, we thank you guys for everybody. We thank you all for your support. So
yeah, you guys rock. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night. I'm gonna actually leave that little ticker up. Actually, we're gonna drop. Oh my God. Oh God, I've ruined it. There we go. All right. So, you guys have a wonderful night. We adore you guys. You're awesome. I'm gonna play some cool. What is it? Vampire. Yeah.